Hey, what's up, guys? I have drank some beers, and I just want to say I just finished watching Game of Thrones, episode 6 of the 7th season. I just want to say I love this show so fucking much. Like, this was such a great episode. I cried. I was on the edge of my seat. I laughed. I had like every single emotion you can have watching this one episode of this show. It takes the build up that you have to go through to get to this kind of point in the show. I mean, I don't even know if you can explain it, but it's been so worth it. Game of Thrones has become in the show so predictable, in my opinion. Every single moment of the, not every single moment, but most of all the main beats of the show, of this episode, I predicted, like, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But I loved every single moment of it. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know, but I said, oh, this is going to happen, and it happened. And I loved it. I'm so glad that I can predict that and it comes true because it's what I want to happen. And so many fans, I believe, want the same thing to happen. Okay, so I'll go into a little bit of spoiler stuff. If you're watching this, you've seen the episode, obviously. The dragon, when it dies, I thought he was going to throw it at Dany at first, and I thought Jon was going to deflect it or something, and that was going to give Dany a more signal to be like, oh, he's really all in, he cares about me, blah blah blah, lovey-dovey, to further their relationship, which has been rushed. I will say that everything seems rushed now. This episode was snappy. Like, the very start of it was so snappy. Dialogue. Oh, these characters are talking. We're going to Winterfell. Oh, Arya and Sansa are talking. It's so snappy. It slowed down after the first 10 or 15 minutes. Because at first, I was like, whoa, we're going way too fast. Like, so much stuff. I know they have to speed it up because a lot of shit has to happen before the end of the show. We only have, like, 7, 8 episodes left? Or I don't even remember. I don't even know. But we have less than 10 episodes or so left. So we gotta go. We gotta get it done. I understand that, but it just, the pacing, I can deal with it. Even though it's a little jarring, I can deal with it. It's great. The rest of the episode felt so good. It's smooth, but the first was just a little snappy. But he aims for one of the dragons, actually, and that makes more sense. So I guess I didn't predict that part. But once that dragon went down, I was like, zombie dragon, it's got to happen, you know. And that was pretty upsetting and bad. No, we don't want the Whites and the Night King to have a dragon. And that end scene, of course, I called that. The chains. I was like, they're pulling the dragon up. They have to be. Like, what else are they doing? And of course, he puts his hand on it, and boom, like, blue eye, awesome. I was like, even though it's bad for the team I'm rooting for, you know, I'm not Team White Walker, because if you're Team White Walker, you're probably a dick and you suck. So yeah, there's that, and so it's not good for us to. It's not good for Team Dany and Snow and Jon, I should say, not, you know, and Team Jon. But it's like, oh, that's so fucking cool. There's, like, is it gonna breathe blue fire? Please breathe blue fire. Please. I don't even know. This dragon doesn't have well, it probably has a name. I just don't know it because I don't think Dany has said any name besides Drogon because they can't have. The budget doesn't allow for them to show all 3 dragons at the same time, except for this episode when they all save the day and it's like so awesome, which is so good. Another part of the episode is so good. They just fly in and save the day, and you knew it was gonna happen, right? It's predictable. It's like, how the fuck did Dany? I guess the dragons can fly pretty fast. They got all the way across to the other side, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You know, they're there. Woo, that's awesome. They're fucking blowing the walkers away and shit, and the ice is melting. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, melt the fucking faces off. But then again, you think, you're like, wait, how far away is this? And how well, were they stranded there for like a week on that one rock? Maybe it was just 2 days or so. Maybe it's just a 2 or 3 day flight, and you can make that. That's no big deal. You get a little hungry in 2 or 3 days, but you're not gonna freeze to death. Besides that one guy who did actually freeze to death. But I don't even know that fucker, whatever, he froze to death. Sorry, Lord of Light bullshit. I do love their flaming swords that they could just flame on, and their sword is on fire. That's pretty badass. I will admit that. Okay, so besides that, we're gonna move past that part. Move past it to the most emotional thing. John he gets drowned in the water, but he does come out of there. And oh my god, I forgot Benjen. I just watched this like a few minutes ago, and I completely forgot that Benjen comes in. I mean, out of random, and saves John, gives him his horse, and says, "Hey, horse, go to the wall." Smacks him on the ass and just takes off. And I guess John passes out like halfway there or a quarter of the way there, and just wakes up on the boat. And Benjen dies, obviously. I guess it doesn't show him. I mean, it shows him getting overwhelmed, but it's just like, that fucking sucks. But Benjen has had like 3 appearances that I can remember in the show. One at the wall, one with Bran, and then this one. So it's like we don't really give that much of a fuck about Benjen, besides that he's John's uncle. Okay, and he's like half White Walker or something for a mystical reason. Cool. Then, okay, so John wakes up on the boat, and he immediately apologizes to Dany because her fucking dragon died. Like it's one of her children, she says, and she gets teary-eyed. And they kind of squeeze each other's hands, like, you know, like, I guess she grabbed his hand, and she's like, you know, yeah, you can't, she says something about you can't know, when you see him, you know, that's when you really realize that there's this danger. She doesn't say that, but that's what you get from her words. And they go through this whole thing. They just look at each other, and it's so good. And they're holding hands, and he says that he says he'll bend the knee because and she's like, why, you know, why, your people, blah blah blah, and he's like, well, they'll understand the person you are. They'll know once they meet you or they see you that this is the right thing to do, blah blah blah. And I just couldn't take it, man. I didn't bawl, but like it was tears on my face with them holding hands and the looks, and at first they were like sincere, and then I swear, and this is great acting from Kit and Emilia Clarke, because I swear Dany gives him the sexiest, like, doomy eyes that you can give someone. And then after she gives those eyes, and it's just a subtle kind of look, and then he notices that, and he kind of gives a look, and then he's like, oh wait, kind of like he kind of pulls back, like just a tad, and it's so good for them acting, because I think then Dany realizes, oh fuck, I just gave him the doomy eyes, like I thought they were about to fuck, literally. I really thought in this scene they were about to fuck, but it's the subtle little nuances in their face that he kind of pulls back or a little bit, and then she's like, "Oh, I just gave him the doomy eyes," and then it's awkward. It's really kind of awkward for the next few moments of them looking around, like, and he's like, okay," or she's like, "You should probably rest. You're very injured. You're probably tired," and he's like, "Yeah, I'll rest, and he's like, fuck, and he just kind of looks up, like peaks when she leaves, and he's like, "Fucking bitch, I could have fucking." it's so good that I can't believe that. I thought they were about to do it, man. Damn it. That would have been so good. We got 2 episodes. They still have time. Their relationship does feel rushed, doesn't it? It feels rushed, but in a way that I'm fine with it being rushed. At this point, anything they do, I'll love it. You can't say that about many shows. Like, I don't want to say it's a blind love. Like, they can't just do anything, and I'll love it. But they could do anything, and I would love it. So that's my thoughts on just a kind of a ramble of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 6. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. Am I way off on my assumptions or my critique of the show when I say that it's too predictable? Not too predictable, but it's so predictable, but it's still awesome. It's awesome that it's predictable. Is that fair to say? I think it is. I love that. I'd love to discuss with you in the comments, so leave them down there. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video that I do. Maybe another episode, next episode, if it's this fucking awesome. We'll see. You'll have to see. Subscribe. Did I say like the video? See, I'm just a whore now. Alright, see you later, guys.